This section concerns the burning out the eyes of an extraterrestrial. I know that sounds, I don't know, the word that comes to mind is ominous. There is about to be a lot of disclosure, much more than you've already seen, if you've seen any at all, about the now called UAP, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, or unidentified aerial phenomena. Used to be called UFOs. And one thing that's not quite often talked about so much as it is in smaller circles where people are ridiculed for talking about being abducted, most of that information is definitely what people would find terrifying. But a lot of the talk that you're hearing now, especially with these congressional hearings and the disclosure by intelligence officials and people in government wanting to know and attempting to have disclosure, it's interesting that they have to do this. One of the things that is said about, for example, presidents of the United States is that they're just temporary employees, and so there's no reason to let them in on what's going on. They're not going to be around for long. People have this misconception that somebody is taking what they think is the highest office in the world, and they would know this information, but it's need to know. They're not, unless they're part of something else that's deeper, that has to do specifically with this information before they get into office, they're not knowing about it. So again, this section concerns the burning out the eyes of an extraterrestrial. I'm going to continue to enlighten you about that and start with the understanding of this. What is happening right now with the disclosure, the things that people are being told, is that we want to know, we want the government to stop lying to us about the presence of these non-human intelligences and these non-human intelligences that are piloting these various different vessels that are visiting Earth and doing all this other stuff like that. We want to know. Well, that's not the most important thing. First of all, there are organizations, the United States and others, who are already taking down, specifically shooting down and using different types of technology to apprehend and then retrieve and reverse engineer technology from non-human intelligences. It's already being done. And they also have the extraterrestrial biological entities that come from these non-human intelligences, or EBEs, right? These aliens, basically. So one, we already know that they're from other planets. There's extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials. But let's not get too far into that. The important part here to remember is this: that they're being shot down, they're being recovered, retrieved, and reverse engineered, and experimented on. And you know what? A lot of people may not want to hear this, and it's going to be shocking, but I'm okay with that for the most part. Because unless these visitors give me another reason to believe, they are not here with our best interest in mind. And all of this secrecy and all of this other nonsense. See, there's a lot of people out there who make claims that they've been visited by different beings, and they've told them things like, "Oh, we're here to enlighten humanity, and we want to, make sure that you don't, destroy yourselves with nuclear bombs and all the war, and we're concerned about your planet and the pollution. And it's really, I have to say a bunch of nonsense. The very first encounter that I recall having, I saw the most human looking being that I encountered that may or may not have been from this planet get shot in the chest by what I call the merman. And that's going to be that's going to be something I talk about, which for now I'm calling Andromeda and the Merman. And then after that, it was all downhill, if you can imagine. I mean, I was no older than 6 years old for that one. Then there were the two insectoids, or whatever the hell they were, in the Bronx. And then as an adult, two gray aliens. And then in 2019, about 5 to 7 of them. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to probably go back into my memory. I haven't allowed myself to really sit back and think about what exactly was going on there, but it was a very strange experience. And all of the ones in between that were not very clearly, that weren't visible like beings, none of them have been anything that I would consider to be pleasant. So unless we're going to say that these are angels and demons and I'm being punished for my bad villainous deeds, or my mind or my soul needs to be, or whatever other kind of garbage, they're not my friends. They've never been my friends. And the one that was nicest to me, I watched get killed. So that's why this section concerns the burning out the eyes of an extraterrestrial. I bet those of you who that sounds familiar to are wondering how the hell I know the name of that document. It's a section of a much larger document about experimentation on a non-human extraterrestrial entity that is titled, "This section concerns the burning out the eyes of an extraterrestrial." And I'm on board with that. And I say, bring it on, keep shooting them down, trap them in the labs, torture them, and basically, war has been declared. We are at war. And all of this stuff about disclosure and the government needs to tell us the truth, there's an embarrassment of riches of evidence, and so you just need to look for it yourself. There will be links in this video as it's on YouTube and on the blog page that I put on UniquilibriuM.com. But that is my statement about my understanding and experience with these encounters with non-human intelligences. They are not friendly. They are not here for our benefit. And I'm going to continue to believe that and continue to support hostile and aggressive actions toward them until and unless another encounter is made with me to let me know something about why my experiences have been so unpleasant. I haven't been scared, and it's just been very uncomfortable. And there's something that I know, if you want to come for me. First of all, I have an understanding of the illusion of death, something that I'll call eternal conscious memory, and the transfer of that eternal conscious memory into neo-avatars and resurrection. So don't think that I'm concerned about any kind of threats to my physical well-being, comfort, safety, or my life. I am requesting, demanding, and I don't know what you'd call it, a parlay, another encounter to straighten this out, or else I'm going to find my way into a much larger organization or contingency of people and other, maybe even other beings that are going to continue to knock you out of the sky, retrieve and recover and reverse engineer your technology and devices, and torture and experiment and find out more about your people. I have already on UniquilibriuM.com started to delve into that before, about using the Metatron weapon against alien threats, which is a metaphysical intelligence operation. And so, by record, you know that I am entirely serious. This section concerns the burning out the eyes of an extraterrestrial.